I'm Spook Span.
And I'm Brian Stevens.
Welcome to the 11th Commandment,
a podcast about how chasing big whitetails has become a religion to us. The plan is to get into the head of one of the most successful whitetail hunters on the planet
and to share over 40 plus years of hunting experience with you. Big bucks, life, and America. Here we go.
Welcome to the 11th Commandment. I'm Brian Stevens with Spook Span, known as one of the most successful whitetail hunters on the planet. And Spook, we have got a treat today, don't we, my friend?
Oh my gosh. I don't even know how to get started with this guy. There's so much I could say. My good buddy, Toonie Hill, better known in the world as Mississippi Slim. I'm not sure who gave him that name. I need to have a talk with him. Anyways, we've become really, really good friends over the last, I don't even know, 15 plus years. He brings a lot of humor to my hunting life and helps me get through dealing with a lot of the negativity. But because of that, he grew up down in central Mississippi and he's got quite the personality and just love our time together. And he's here with us today. And Slim's going to be with us a lot. He's going to be an integral part of the 11th Commandment. He just a jolly soul with is a good hunter, grew up hunting and fishing in the South just like we all did. And so it's going to be fun. And I'm tickled to death he's here with us today.
No, that's good. I mean, I just, want to say that before we got on air and camera here that Slim was telling me that he was actually a better deer hunter than you, but just he didn't want to compare. But truth be told, I mean, Slim, come on now, spill the goods.
Well, I mean, it's called, I'm not going to say quality, but.
Okay, we were talking quantity. Maybe I misunderstood you. Okay, that's fair. It was quantity, not quality. Okay, fair enough. So Mississippi Slim.
Look. So just look at the lens right now.
Yep.
Your shoulders are in between the lens. Mine are in between the lens, and his are outside the lens.
That's right.
So part of the reason he's on this is because the mouth matches everything else.
Wow. Look. Go ahead, Slim. Go ahead, buddy. He just came off the top rope. Go ahead.
All right. Like I said, the numbers matter.
Listen, yes, they do. From a Southern boy, yes, they do.
Yeah. Is everybody always
you can only count legal numbers. Be careful. Your match is on here now. You know that.
I want to see you pin him down here. I want to see him down.
Hey, I can do that easy. I go sit in your stand, shoot them just like you can.
You got some big bucks in Mississippi, and I know how hard it is to hunt there, just like it's hard to hunt in Florida and Georgia at times, and I know you got good deer. So why don't we rewind it back a little bit? Spook and I had a chance to talk a little bit about how we started and the passion of hunting, and before we start getting bloody and black eyes here, tell us how you got into it and growing up and the love that you have.
Well, of course, I grew up hunting. Just like everybody else, you just shoot the first thing that comes out and this and that. And my dad was a big hunter, killed a lot of big bucks. Of course, back in those days, you just didn't have the funds or the money to mount them.
Yep.
It wasn't as big a deal. We had a lot of farming here, and we had a lot of places we could hunt. Of course, now, I grew up watching them kill deer, my cousins. We just hunted we hunted for food. We're not.
Tell us how you're set up on the road there on the 5-gallon bucket.
Well, everybody makes fun of me because back in the day, I was scared of the dark when I was a little boy. So I just took me a 5-gallon bucket and set it out by the road by an oak tree. I sit behind the oak tree, and when they crossed the road, I just shot them. It didn't matter.
Listen.
Mile stretch. So,
how old were you when you were doing that?
Old, 7 or 8.
Yeah.
When I shoot them in the ditch, I just go down there on a little 110 3-wheeler and tie a rope around the head, pull it back. Go back out there and sit and wait 30 more minutes for another one to come.
Come
Oh,
on
so
now.
you're telling me you waited till they got into the ditch before you shot?
Well,
Negative. Go.
I mean, they got the
Dirt
ball in the
roads don't count, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
there's no
Yeah.
jurisdiction on dirt road back then, Spook.
Okay.
How old were you, Slim, when you shot your first good deer that you were like, that's a deer that got your heart pounding, and that was like, that's a good Mississippi deer?
30.
Really?
Yeah. I just couldn't wait for them.
You said good deer, so you messed it up when you said good deer. If it was brown, it was down from 8 years old to 30, so it took him that long to get to where he could hold off.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't bow hunt when I was young. When I started bow hunting's when I started trying to kill a bigger one.
Gotcha. All right. Okay. And that buck at 30 was the first deer with the bow.
Yes.
Yep.
Just
How
happened
long
to be
did it take you to kill a deer with the bow? I can tell you it took me like 5 years, a good deer.
first day.
Well, look, okay, you're that guy, huh?
I killed a doe the first day, and I killed a 7-point the second day.
Okay. All right.
Then the third day, I killed a 155-inch 10-point
Then it all changed.
in Mississippi.
That's a good deer.
Yeah, he was. Made the front page, Mississippi Magazine. All the hoopla started. The game wardens came, the game, and here we are today, babe, doing a podcast.
I mean, seriously.
It's been TV. It's been everything under the sun. And as you know, when you kill a big buck, half the world gets mad.
Oh, they do. So I got to tell you a story about the big buck and everybody getting mad. So I think it was 2007. I told Spook on another podcast, I actually shot the Georgia State record with a bow, a 193. And it had gotten broken like 20-something days later by my buddy Jay Maxwell, who shot at 231. But like for 40 years, it was a standing record. So I get the deer to the processor, and I know the processor pretty well. And he calls me, he goes, Brian, you got to get here right now to get this deer. And I'm like, okay. So I roll up, and at the time I had my two little boys were literally like 6 and 8. And I'm walking in, both boys holding each hand, and I'm telling you, there's 30 trucks in the parking lot. These people were losing their mind about how big this deer was. And I'm walking in, and I'm just they're just outside of their trucks talking. And I roll up with my two little boys to go get this deer, and I get him, and I'm walking out, and just the anger and the look on these people's faces, like, this joker is rolling up here with his two little boys and shot that big buck. I threw it in the back of my truck with a stick of archery logos, and I got out of there. But I mean, it cracked me up to just see the look on these people's faces of astonishment, anger, mad. It just blew me away.
That reminds me of a story, Brian, that I've got. So when I was young. I mean, I'm going to say I was 11 or 12. I was hunting on public hunting on a draw hunt at Cheatham Wildlife Management Area here in Middle Tennessee. And I shot a deer on a running wide open. Can't believe I hit it. And it was a decent 8-pointer, I'm going to say, looking back, it was probably 125, nice Tennessee 8,
Yep.
Went to the chicken station, and I'm 11 or 12 years old. And same thing, dude. There was about 20 or 30 old guys around there. My dad was so proud. We come up there, and he said, "Did you kill it?" And he's like, "No, Spook killed it." And you would have thought that it was a 220 laying there.
Oh, yeah.
They got so freaking mad and just started murmuring and saying stuff and lucky SOB and all this stuff, which stuck with me for a long time. And here's grown men.
Yep.
And a 12-year-old comes in with just a decent buck. It wasn't even like, and they just lost their mind.
Yep. Yep.
It's crazy.
It happens. But look, and then you got a lot of people that celebrate, and that's the beautiful thing about, most people that do celebrate. So, well, tell me a little bit more, just where you love to hunt. Like, is it bow only now, Slim?
No,
I mean,
no. I'd like to hear that gun pop.
okay. You like
I
to
mean,
hear that crack.
guys that I feel like I got to kill him with a bow or whatever, I'll kill him with a cannon.
I hear
I
you.
about that stuff. I mean, for a while I went through the bow deal where everybody think, man, and I really quit caring. I mean, I love to hear a rifle crack. I mean,
I hear you.
I like hunting at home. I mean, of course, I love hunting the Midwest. I love Texas. I mean, I don't care where he's at. I mean,
Okay.
the only reason I don't shoot a 400 because they stopped at 300, I reckon. But I mean, if I don't care about, I don't judge a person by what they kill it
Yep.
with. I
Yep.
mean, if you what you done to kill him. I mean,
Yep. I love it.
I enjoy that as much as anything.
No, I hear you. And look, Spook obviously grew up gun hunting and then got into bow hunting and does both and killed most of your big bucks with the bow. I know you have, but
Yep.
I know you still got a little bit in you that you love to hear that gun crack and just there's what, Slim, I think it takes us back to when we were kids and how it started.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's one of the things that I cherish about it is it just reminds me of growing up and just how everything got going.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think everybody loves to, I mean, if they're truthful, I mean, if you just love to hunt like we do, it really don't make any difference how we get him. We just, you want to get him. I mean, it's no more rewarding to me because I love the animal so much. It's no more rewarding to me to kill him with my rifle than it is my bow or my crossbow. I mean, I had a little instance where I started hunting with a crossbow, and everybody, man, you big old guy, you hunting with a crossbow, blah blah blah. Well, I don't feel like I need to tell the world that I just had 2 back surgeries, but
Yeah.
guys just start attacking you, and you're like, what? I mean, do I owe you an explanation of how I killed him at 15 yards? I mean, if you can do it, what does it matter?
Correct.
I mean, so I'm not that guy. I never want to be that guy. And I love Spook because he's never said, man, I think when we were doing TV, he never said, Slim, I think you need to kill him with a bow. I think you need to kill him with this.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to hear that. I mean, let's just be proud that the guy killed the deer instead of trying to cut everybody down, man. We got to stop that. Hunters have become the worst. We're our worst enemy. I mean, dude, these guys get on here and dog Spook or dog you or dog me because we may have shot a crossbow or a rifle or whatever. Man, just be glad he's hunting. I just hope my little boy, man, I want him to go out. Me and Spook talk about it. His grandson, we just want him to go out. And my neighbors have even said, oh my gosh, when Memphis gets a little older, I'm worried to death. We ain't going to have nothing because I know you letting him have it.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to teach him at 8 years old how to save a deer. When he enjoys hunting, then we'll talk about it. He'll figure it out like I did.
Yep.
Now
that's one of my biggest pet peeves in the hunting industry is this, need that some people feel to diminish or demoralize or downplay another person's success because of a weapon he shot or what state he gets to hunt in or how much money he can put towards it or whatever. I don't understand why we just all can't be happy for each other and celebrate each other's success. And the people that have become my best friends in this world are the people that we can celebrate each other's success, just like you guys, the Eskers, Will and Mary, and people like that, Billy, Rick. because we enjoy seeing that and being a part of it, even though we might not have been the ones that pulled the trigger this time, And for the people who don't feel that way towards your success, then, they're not, I mean, to me, they're not real friends, So, I used to get so much joy into pulling up. My dad would see that I killed something because the level of pride and joy that I could see in his eyes and in his heart was a lot of what made it even more special for me. In the same way, when me and Slim's together and kill one, he just walked, he's like, oh man, that's part of the fun of being able to celebrate with your buddies and your family. And for people who don't share in that with you is really sad.
Well, like when you killed the big one, we had the chicken wing eating contest. And I lost.
You did.
That's chicken.
Saying something.
Look, man, I chicken with anybody, but now he was super hungry that night, man. He killed me. We ordered
a lot of adrenaline that had burned off a lot. I was hungry.
We ordered 100 wings, and I went out, man. I went out swinging.
Listen,
what happened?
That went down in those legs or something because, dang.
I'm telling you, I believe he was putting them in his pocket, dude. I mean, I don't know what.
Hey, if there's ever something that would be fun to lose at, it would be a chicken wing eating contest.
I hear you on that. I hear you.
The Eskers were with us on that. It was hilarious.
But back for a thing that I think people, I'm sure a lot of people's going to watch and get out of this. But one thing we need to always remember, that these are God's creatures. These ain't ours. Everybody likes to put their name on this buck or this fish or this blah or blah, blah. But these are God's creatures, and we're blessed to hunt them. And yeah, if my neighbor kills the big buck I'm hunting, it's going to break my heart. Yep. But at the end of the day, he just was lucky that day. I mean, so what? I mean, it's not the end of the world. Let's see who gets the next one. I mean, but I think that's what everybody needs to remember. I think, you watching trail cameras, you see this buck every night, and all of a sudden, he's gone. Well, you find out your neighbors killed him. It's no need of calling the game warden and freaking out.
Yeah.
Just be glad and say, well, I got to start over. I mean.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes if you let a particular deer define you as a hunter, then I think we're losing touch with this versus kind of the approach to hunting, your love for hunting, what you put into it, and everybody's going to put a different level of effort into it. But at the end of the day, we're all putting something in it, and I think letting kind of that love and passion and your appreciation for what you just said, Slim, let that define you versus a particular buck define you as a hunter.
And I'll say this, Brian, and this may step on our toes, but I mean, I feel about my property. If I got 60 acres, I work just as hard to get that 60 as some guy did to get 2,000.
Yes, sir.
That guy worked for his and I worked for mine. So let's just keep in mind that unless you got a high fence, that deer don't know no boundaries.
Yes, sir. Yep.
So, I mean, I think that plays a role in it sometimes. But, hey, I mean, if stuff like this, us talking about it and people hear about it, I know Spooks caught a lot of flack over the years I've seen. I really didn't understand how much. I mean, I've had a very controversial deer, but it changed my life. And when I say a deer changed my life, a deer changed my life.
Yeah.
And, that's, hey, I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I wouldn't
same here. Same thing here.
I mean, for Spook, it's same thing. I mean, everybody has certain things. It's just crazy that something we love, like deer hunting, would change your life, would alter your life that much.
Yeah, I mean, look, in some cases, you would hope in that it's for the better versus, if you're doing things right and you're doing it the right way, then the negative things that would come with that. That's the unfortunate part of this. And look, there are people that have done some things that they need to be accountable for and cut corners and all that, and that's not what we're talking about. This is just
absolutely.
This is just trying to do it the best way you can and celebrate it. And again, the gun hunting piece of it, my kids, how I got them introduced to hunting as young boys was through a rifle. You're not starting them out with a bow because my son wanted to start bow hunting. And I'm like, if he misses and wounds that first deer, he's done. Like it'll break his heart. I just knew the kind of kid he is. He picked up a rifle, and at 8 years old, he shot a 140-inch deer in South Carolina, and then he's just been a killer since. And he loves it. Now he's bow hunting, as he's older, and to go bow hunt with him would be awesome. I mean, that would be super cool, and I've done it. But to still go back and rifle hunt him with him at a time or two, man, it would bring back so many memories, and it would just be just as fun.
Yeah.
Yep.
Brian, I live in an area, of course, being from central Mississippi, I live in a very poor area. You got to keep in mind where I live, and also in places where Spook lives. There's still people here that hunt for food. I mean, their meat consists of wild game. So I think that's something that people kind of have forgot. I mean, even for us, and I eat steak today for lunch, but I mean, I'm telling you right now, it's nothing for us to eat deer meat 3 days a week.
Yep. Same here.
Yep.
That's just what we do.
I'm having it tonight after the podcast.
Matter of fact, we are too.
Yeah. I mean, I think venison has, also, and Brian is part of this too, trying to eat healthy. And one of the things that, all jokes aside, I think I've had a little bit of influence on Slim's life by helping him change his diet, which he's always eat, chicken and fish and deer and different things, but he's learning how to use them in a healthier way. That's, venison is one of the highest protein, less fat content things, if not the most. May be the meat with the highest protein, lowest fat content of any animal or any meat. I think it's right up there. So anyways, with saying that, it's so good for you. And, I've learned some things about aging, hanging the deer up and aging it and letting it break down before you cut it up. And that's really helped. I mean, I love it, so, I mean, It is a big part of our life. And, we tend to obviously want to talk about and focus on the big ones and that kind of thing. But I mean, we all really like to eat it. And so, I know that's always important to people to understand.
Yes, sir. So, all right. Tell me about a hunt with Spook. You got a good story.
Well, we got to start off with how we got to know each other the first time he ever come to see me, because
my buddy Tim Hunt had a couple of products in the hunting industry, and he said, "Man, I met Tim and we were all friends," and he said, "Man, you know Spook?" Well, I didn't know Spook.
Okay.
My uncle has been watching Spook forever. And I'm like,
okay.
Hey, I'm like, so they telling me all about Spook. So I go to Montgomery to the Buckmaster show. I'm going to meet Spook. So we standing around. There's a couple of his deer in the booth, blah, blah, blah. Man, he's killed a big deer. So me and my cousin, which are two redneck, baby. We redneck. We stand there. We like killers. So let's just say that. And I'm thinking, so here comes this guy walking in, looks like blonde-headed, looks like he's going to the basketball court. How he got on.
I remind you of a better-looking Larry Bird, didn't I?
Whatever. He got on armor, get up. I'm thinking, oh, he must be some kind of ball player or something.
Yeah.
I was a ball player. Come on.
Okay. Whatever. And I'm like, so he walks off, him and Miss Marty. Like, is that the guy y'all talking about killed? I said, he don't look like he ever killed nothing. And he comes back, and I'm just listening, and he's saying, I done this, I done that, and we walk off again. I said, man, if that guy's killed, I said, that guy ain't killed near the stuff we done killed, man. I said that. So anyway, long story short, fast forward, we went to the turkey banquet.
Okay.
We get up there.
Was it WPF in Nashville, and they came?
Gotcha. Yep.
Yeah. So we go to his house. Hey, man, y'all come over to the house. So we go over to his house, and, dude, we walk down in the basement.
Oh, yeah, I've been in the basement, Slim.
And I'm like, holy, I'm like, what? And, I mean, it's like a zoo.
It's a museum.
And my cousin's with me, and he walks over to the side, and he said, man, this SOB done killed more crap than cancer. And I'm like, what? And we there in awe. I mean, he just in awe.
I mean, and there's rooms. There's a turkey room, a bear room, mule deer. There's the grizzly bear, sheep room. I mean, it's crazy.
I mean, I'm like, I just wish this guy probably would have wore camouflage to the show. I'd have a lot more respect for him instead of a jump. He should have just wore camouflage. But story short, I mean, I was really, after finding out, and I was like, man, I kind of was like, man, I got to figure out how this guy's killing all this stuff,
Yep.
And we kind of fast forward, and I was having a problem with my knee, and we went to brush in a blind. I was hunting a pretty big deer in Ohio, and he was with me, and so we went to brush in a blind, Brian, and I'm serious. You would have thought the bushes had slapped his mama. I mean, he just starts tearing the bushes down, ripping down trees, making a blind, and I'm like, man, this guy really is crazy.
Oh, when it comes to building a blind, that sucker's going to be done right.
We built a blind in the middle of a cornfield, and when we got through with it, I didn't know if I could find it if I went back. It looked like, I mean, but
I take the sniper approach to
Yep.
level.
Yeah.
Fast forward, my hunting with him one time, me and him's on his farm. We riding around. I got a brand new set. My wife bought me a brand new set of Swarovski binoculars.
Woo.
I mean, I'm talking about I've got them in a case.
Cadillac.
You're carrying those to church, to everywhere. You're going to restaurants with those. I mean, they're around your neck.
I got them wrapped up almost in bubble wrap.
Okay.
We come down, and I think you've been on this farm, Brian. We come down, cross this little creek, and we come up, and this big buck jumps up and starts running. I mean, he's probably 160, 170. He's running across the field, and Spook grabs my brand new binoculars and just tears all the stuff off of them. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? Oh, and anyway, I'm like, this guy's going to tear up $3,000 worth of binoculars over a deer.
Yep.
Long story short, 2 days, I think, before season. So I got, look, he's of course in his blind. He got a little chair, and I can't fit in it. So I got to carry my chair up to the blind getting ready. So I go over, take my chair up. I couldn't believe he's going to let me hunt him. So anyway, we went, on the farm. 2 days later, we sitting there. When gun season comes in, sure enough, buck walks out, broad-sided. I'm on the phone with him. I'm like, there he is, dude. I mean, I said, I took the breast, everything, shot at that joker twice and missed him both times. Choked.
I mean, Slim.
Had an opportunity to hunt on the Spook Nation farm.
On a Spook Nation farm at a 170?
On the phone with him. And missed that mug twice. And you know what? He's like, shoot again. I said, I ain't got no more bullets. And that was the story. When I hunted him, I stayed 4 or 5 more days.
Yeah, you stayed long time.
And we never seen him again. And nobody ever killed him.
They did.
Yeah.
Happened. But So yeah, it's of course that's some of the first and how I got to.
And he let you come back.
Yeah, he let me come back because
That's a good story. I mean, I have missed birds with Spook, but I haven't missed a big buck with Spook. So that you might be an N of one in the whole world that could tell that story, my friend.
Well, he's not going to take anybody hunting because he's going to manipulate you. He's going to give you this big, long sob story of why you shouldn't shoot the big one. But I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I didn't care.
Oh.
I had the opportunity to kill a couple nice bucks. I got a couple of really good friends, older gentlemen that don't hunt no more, that loves to hunt, knows my passion, that gives me an opportunity to hunt with them.
Nice.
And they kind of, Brian, I drive 65 miles one way every day. I hunted a couple deer, and I got a really good story for later on about one of the kill this year. I called him the Lord's deer, but I did kill the deer I was chasing, but it was a midget. And I know y'all go ahead and laugh and all that, but
like
the deer was
midget. Like he's got like
I
6-inch legs, and he's got like
one that doesn't look. I haven't seen one that doesn't look like a midget with you standing by it.
I know, but it's like a spook. It's a midget. No, for real. This was only 130 pounds,
and it was like he was like a 5-year-old.
He was. I mean, and everybody, look, the processor pulled the jawbone with. When I say pull the jawbone, we looked at him really close. And he was 5 years old. And I'm just telling you, he never was with another buck. I noticed that all the time. He's always by himself.
Because he got picked on all the time.
Dude, he was beat to death. I killed in late December.
Yep.
He was beat to death. Like I couldn't even use the cape.
Wow.
It had many holes in it from him being poked. He had been beat to death. And
he put him out of his
misery. He must have been fighting back, though.
Yeah, he was fighting back. But, I mean, like I said, the deer scored 138, weighed 130 pounds.
Wow.
I thought the deer was 148. I missed him by 10 inches, but I had nothing to judge him by. And I mean, I tickled to death. I'm
still a good deer.
I'm mounting the deer because I hunted
a 5.5-year-old deer.
Yeah, I mean, what's on his head?
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't make him any dumber. I mean, I hunted him like he was 200.
Correct.
But man, I killed a few does. I hunted a nice deer in Ohio, but just couldn't put the time in on him.
Gotcha.
And going back, and of course, the snow that hit here recently, and I was scared I'd get hung up there and couldn't get back home in time, and got some pictures. And those deer up there shed a little early this year.
Okay.
So, I've done okay. I don't want to break the podcast too much, but
look, there's going to be time. We got to ease into that, man. We got plenty of time to be bragging.
But I did have a good year.
What do you call them? Midwest Giants?
Huh?
You call them Midwest Giants? Is that right?
We're going to ball this right up front. Brian, see, I'm willing to admit that I get the big eye sometimes.
Okay,
and I
y'all do.
Low buck. And I was doing TV, man. It's TV. Incredible Hulk's real. I'm out a long ways. He was, and I called him a Midwest Giant. And I'm going to tell you, I need them go-go gadget arms to make him look big, Brian.
And you had to push that way on out there.
Yeah, way out there.
Way out there, Brian. A 110. Woo! 110. And son, I killed him and thought he was, I don't know, man. It was bad, and I'll never hear the end of that.
No, you won't. No, nor should you, because I've got one of those that I killed in Florida that Billy will never let me down. He, in fact, had to I shot this deer that I don't know what happened, and he had a rack of another deer in the back of the Jeep, and I went to go to the bathroom and something, and he'd come back and tied the other horns to the horns of the deer I shot to make him look bigger because he was so small. I was like, man, that's a real friend right there.
I'll give you this information. I was in a state that you're allowed to kill more than one. Okay.
All right.
The outfitter felt so bad for me that he said, man, I'm going to let you keep hunting. He said, we ain't even going to worry about it.
Slim, I'm going to tell you right now, like, God bless you for admitting that. That tells me the kind of human you are. But for an outfitter to give you grace and not charge you and let you hunt again, man,
you starting to get with me now.
He felt that
what
bad for
priceless
you.
What was priceless, Brian, is he was so excited. And he turned around the camera and he was just into it. And man, just killed a Midwest giant. And then when he walked up to it and picked it up, I couldn't tell. I think his hands were bigger than the rack. Oh my goodness. It was so funny.
Man,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I couldn't.
It was very bad.
I've had it happen.
Brian, I got a lot more than one.
Well, look.
Because, I mean, I'm sitting there and I, hey, sometimes I just get excited. I get trigger happy.
All right. I love it. How are you on the turkey hunting?
I started turkey hunting. I turkey hunted when I was young, and then I quit. And I started back 4 or 5 years ago. I enjoy it a lot, but owning my own business, I'm in the retail business, tire business. And of course, turkey hunting is in tax time. So we're generally really busy. I need to be at work early. I don't go as much as,
okay.
It don't drive me crazy.
Gotcha. All right. Well, at least
he's not mad at him.
No, he's not mad at him.
No.
That's good to know that when we have you come down here to Florida and when you kill an Osceola, that I got to make sure you don't get shook up and kill a Jake on me, that I got to have you kill a gobbler. So I'm going to tell you exactly which one to shoot. I'm going to have to supervise you.
I've never fried a beard.
Well, I understand that, but we got some turkey standards down here, brother.
Oh, I don't have no standards. No, I'm
Okay.
just
Same way he was for a long time when he was girl shopping.
Yep, I ain't got no standards. Look,
Anything
Your wife's
goes.
not in that room, is she?
the girls all get pretty at closing time.
God blessed him. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, I see that. I've seen it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm a good salesman, Brian. She said I sold her. She said I way oversold it.
Okay. There's nothing wrong with that.
I keep fooling her every day.
Good for you, my brother. Good for you.
It's funny.
Slim, thank you for being here today.
Man,
And
yeah.
we got so much more to talk about and to dig into more stories with you and Spook. And just, again, I want to learn a little bit more. I've got a good Mississippi story I'm going to tell next time. But
Good.
I want to learn just a little bit more about just life in Mississippi and hunting and the culture and all the things that bring us all together and that I know you love and are passionate about.
Absolutely. I like catfishing too.
Do you? Okay.
I go after
Okay.
like big bucks.
Okay. So that's you. It's catfish and bucks. So it's like it's turkeys and deer with us.
Way better to ask for forgiveness than it is permission.
Now, what you knew is I wasn't going to take anybody to a place where there was a real big one I was hunting.
So
Will used to he would hunt at Big Buck, and then kept trying to get me to take him to Illinois.
Yeah.
You told him.
You just can't go.
Slim told him, said the only way you're ever gonna get to go that farm is to buy it. So he ain't taking
Yeah.
nobody over there.
I mean, just not. I mean, just not.
Well, I've seen pictures of it, so I know it's nice.
It was funny. And he was hunting a giant. And I'll be honest with you, Brian, I was praying. And that giant was on the other side of the farm. I mean,
Yeah.
praying that he wouldn't come out. I wasn't going to shoot him. And he knew that. That's the reason he let me go. But I'm here to tell you, dude, I believe I'd have tried to hold him till he got there because I'd showed. I wish we killed him, but we didn't.
You know, it's funny. It's funny about those two deer. It was the weirdest thing. I learned something. So I had a 900-acre farm. In early season in Velvet, these two bucks were hanging out together on one end of the farm.
Okay.
But then as we got into October, one of them took up on one side of the farm and one of them took up on the other. And I had cameras all over the farm. There was a point about middle ways of the farm where the one buck never went past that camera, or at least didn't get any pictures of him past the central part of the farm. And the other buck never got past the central part of the farm. They were always on each end of the farm on their own cameras. And when October got into like the first week or two of October, never got a picture of either one of them on the opposite side of the farm.
Were they two mature bucks? Were they
both 5 and 6 years. One of them could have been 7, and one of them was 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was very interesting how my guess is that these two bucks probably grew up together on the farm because I had pictures of them the year before. And then they just, it's crazy. One of them stayed on his side and the other one stayed on his side. It was crazy.
To that, Brian, we talking about big bucks, and me and Spook said this, and I'm fixing to say something that everybody's going to call me crazy. But
you're going to say it. Let's just get it out there. There's going to be a lot of stuff from here on out that people's going to call you crazy. That's why you're on the show, because we know you're crazy. Right. But anyways, all right, we got that out of the way.
So I feel that a buck will go 5 miles one way and won't go 100 yards the other way.
Why is that? Why do you think?
I just think sometimes they have territories, that they just don't cross. And I don't have a clear answer. I've asked Spook this 1,000 times. I hunted a giant in Mississippi, over 180.
Okay.
I hunted him, and I would get him on camera, and he never went to one spot. And I'm talking about feeding as much as you can feed, everything you can feed.
Yep.
And he would not come to a lane to where I could hunt him from a long ways away. In saying that, I'm just saying he wouldn't come to the left, but they had pictures of him 2 miles to the right of the farm.
Okay.
Nobody that I know of ever had pictures of him on the left side of this road.
Interesting.
Which was crazy, and I've had this happen multiple times. I got a neighbor. I got an acre tract that's awesome. I got a neighbor that never has a picture of a big buck, and me and the guy beside me have pictures all the time. I could probably pull up my camera right now, and there's a buck standing there eating corn. And my neighbor fusses every day. He's got 400 acres beside me. He don't do really anything wrong. They just don't go over there. I don't have the answer.
I think a lot of times a deer grows up from a button buck with just a certain natural barrier that is somewhat unexplainable. You would like to think that it's either a river or a highway or a crop field or something that just says, he's got everything he needs over here. I know, and they will wander in that other direction from time to time. But I don't know. I just think it's just like every big buck has a different personality, has a different, some are more aggressive than others, some are. And that's what we try to figure out on trail camera is which buck is more aggressive, which one's more likely to show up in the daytime, which one is using my spot more than not, but yeah, it's weird how we experienced that on the farm. And then that buck, I mean, me and, Slim had a conversation about that buck. What was his name? I forgot.
Drag handle.
Drag handle. Yeah, I love the name. So we'd have a conversation 4 or 5 times a week about drag handle. And that was one of the things, because I was always trying to help Slim strategize on where he could set up where this deer would feel comfortable coming in without him having to put pressure getting in and get out, and the deer never would know it, And he kept trying to set him up on this long shooting lane where he could shoot him way off with a rifle and couldn't get him to come in. And you wasn't, 300 yards from where he was coming in?
At one point was less than 100.
Yeah, and he was where he was coming in was an open food plot,
Yes.
But he wouldn't come into that narrow shooting lane, and with only between 100 and 300 yards, wouldn't come into it for nothing,
And I had a guy that wasn't hunting very far from me, and I mean, he's a straight up guy. He never had a picture of that buck.
Interesting.
I mean, he never had a picture of that deer, and I don't know. I don't know what happened. I had over 400 hours on him.
Wow. Did you ever kill him?
No. Nope.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
That was one of those, that's one of those special deer that's in your spot that you just know you're going to kill. I mean, we talked about him, strategized everything. We talked about wind. We talked about moon. We had multiple conversations about when Slim should go in, how he should do it, everything. Did everything right. It just never happened, and it was just another, and I go back to that, my thing where, people talk about, you got this buck to hunt, that buck to hunt, blah, blah, blah. It's just, it doesn't matter what the situation is. There's just going to be times when it just doesn't work out. And that deer, I think he had something figured out. He somehow knew when you listen to all the stories, I don't know, man. I don't know whether he was bedding so close that he was hearing the truck or something. It was crazy. It was just crazy how he was dodging Slim, and Slim was trying to change up tactics and sneak in and all these things, which admittingly, it's a little harder for him to sneak into places than it is most people.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He went there, Slim.
I couldn't help it.
He went there.
And since he wants to go there, even Spook's fan couldn't get me that buck.
I
tell you,
I hear you.
I am sorrowful that I didn't just come down there and shoot him for you.
Well,
I should have done that. And that,
at this,
I mean, I owed that to my buddy just to come shoot him for you, and I should have, and I apologize.
You know what?
Point,
I know that.
If I knew we could have killed him, I'd just soon you shot him then shot me. It wouldn't have mattered.
It was. I was feeling his pain. I'm going to tell you right now. I felt like that we had so many conversations about drag handle, and I saw him so sick about it so many times. I was feeling his pain. I mean,
You know what?
I was, man. I was.
You know what's crazy about that is that's part of what's beautiful about this whole thing is you can have an animal just get in your head, and we love it, but that's the other part of it. When you do have that opportunity to hunt something special, how an animal can do that to a human being, and it just we've all been there. And
you can without realizing it allow it to affect you in a very negative way, you know.
For real.
And you don't, you can, it can lead you to be temporarily depressed. It's, that's not what we should be doing. We should be like enjoying and relishing every minute of the opportunity. And instead we just let it get to us. I think that's something the three of us here have all gotten better at, though, is just acknowledging the fact that, man, this is awesome, and just enjoying the whole, even if you don't get him. But
Off, Brian. I went 40 times in a row this year. I've slacked way off.
No, I hear you. Look, I mean, to that point, I think having good friends and good buddies to help you talk you off the ledge and just get your head right. And then I think, too, sometimes taking a break and stepping back, it's like anything. It could be work, it's deer hunting, it's a sport, it's anything.
Yeah.
Yep, that's true.
Sure, but they'll walk you up to the edge.
Oh,
for sure.
listen.
Especially a 180-inch Mississippi deer.
I've had 150-inch deer in Georgia do that to me, man. So, I mean, look.
Well,
it happens.
Not to pile on or anything, but he was bigger than 180.
Ow. Wow.
I mean, I think he was more like 190. Just saying. I just wanted to clarify that. He keeps calling him 180. I think he was bigger. I thought that would make you feel better.
Yeah. That's a true friend right there, buddy.
I'll sleep good tonight.
Yes, you.
I mean, it literally, not a week goes by, and this is really, my wife says, she makes fun of me of this, but it's not a week goes by and I don't think about him. I still look at the pictures, still look at the videos, and just wonder. I'm like, dude, I don't know.
It would have been nice to know what happened to him.
I mean, I think he was a ghost. I really, really do.
Well, Slim, if it makes you feel any better, I shared a story with Spook. So you didn't even get a shot at that deer. I got a shot at a 220 double drop tine in velvet mule deer in Colorado and missed him with a bow at 60 yards. You talk about a little bit of a sting and hurting, buddy. You look on your face right there. You don't got to say a word. Okay. So you're welcome. Okay. I just made you feel better.
Yeah. That'll make you.
Yeah. That's painful.
That tell you something.
Yes, sir.
That's why I like shooting a rifle.
Well,
it didn't help me in Kentucky. It didn't help me in Kentucky because I missed him twice.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, look, I would have probably gone to jail if I'd have shot him in velvet with a rifle, but, that was a tough one.
A double drop muley 230, I'll take my chances in jail. Don't they feed you good?
Yep.
Just my rack.
So tell me about your season, Slim. Tell me a little bit about your season this year.
I'm a new daddy. I got an 18-month-old, and
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you. I didn't. I went to Ohio a couple times. Just really didn't get drawn for Kansas. I mostly hunted here. I hunted a lot here. I own my own business, so I get to hunt a lot of days. Yeah.
Okay.
I like catfish because I always tell Spook I'm a bottom feeder.
All right. Thank you, brother, for the stories today. And we've got so much more to come. Listen, it's big bucks life in America, and we salute our military. We salute the police officers, the first responders, and all the patriotic people out there in the world today.
Absolutely.